Fancy seeing you here. I'm your host, Ali Ray, a serial entrepreneur and mom who loves building brands and raising babies. This is a podcast about being on brand and in season in every facet of your life. Each week, we dive into topics around business and brand development while sprinkling some hard-earned life lessons in there too. So if you love a good brand and a good breakdown, buckle up and come along with me as I sort of seamlessly switch between major life roles in an attempt to fulfill all the life dreams of a Type A Enneagram 3 millennial small business owner who wants to help other entrepreneurs and raise good humans. This is the Ali Ray Haney Show. Hey everybody, this is Kassie.
And I'm Ali here too.
We are coming on here to talk all things Escape and share some exciting news and give you all the details about Escape Conference 2025. Hi, Ali.
Hey there, so excited. Let's first do a brief introduction of ourselves. Ali and Cassie, we are the co-founders of the Escape Conference, as well as the overall Escape Events brand. I am a branding and marketing agency owner. And Cassie, what do you do?
I am an online business manager and photographer. So we know each other through the photography world when Ali was a photographer as well, and still is for branding, but we met in the wedding photography world. And a few years ago, it's crazy to say that now, we can say that we started planning this a few years ago. Escape Conference came to life when we realized that there was a need for those in the messy middle. And that looked like a lot of things. It looked like trying to balance being a mom to small children to just leaving corporate world, or being in a place where you were revenue generating, but your back end of your business wasn't super clean and you weren't sure how to grow and what to do from there. She and I got together, and over many conversations and an interesting time of cooking dinner in the kitchen, we were like, let's do it ourselves.
So that's when we started ideating what would soon to become the Escape brand. And that kind of leads us straight into our mission and our values for the Escape Conference. So, our mission is to provide impactful education that fuels the entrepreneurial drive and then host events that reinvigorate the entrepreneurial spirit. One of our values is that we like to respect every single entrepreneur that we come into contact with, but we like to respect more than just the fact that they are a business owner. Oftentimes, in that messy middle, you are wearing a lot of different hats, you're juggling a lot of different roles. So, we want to provide a place that you can escape to do whatever you need to do, whether that is to grow the CEO mindset and really transition from being a solopreneur into um, the CEO of your business, or if you need to escape the day-to-day grind so that you can focus on yourself as a person and not necessarily the demands and needs of everyone else around you. Our other two values are service and impact. We are absolutely committed to serving entrepreneurs in a way that benefits not only their business, but also their personal life. And oftentimes that service piece of it looks a lot of different ways. So we serve the entrepreneurs that are within the Escape brand through hard hitting education. We are known for having people leave our events feeling reinvigorated with tangible tips that they can actually implement into their business. We serve people through networking and camaraderie, building a community around the Escape brand, and also solidarity. Like, we see you, we are you, and we're here to serve you because likely if we have a need, you also have that same need because we so very clearly identify as being in the messy middle. Finally, our last value is impact. We really, whether it's with the entrepreneurs that we work with directly that are attending our events, whether it's the speakers that are pouring into the attendees of our events, or whether it's with the small businesses in the areas that we are hosting our events, we want to positively impact anyone that we come into contact with. And with that being said, we would love to tell you a few different ways to be able to be involved in the Escape brand.
In addition to the conference, there are a few other ways that you can get involved. So we have our ESC Impact Weekly That is our monthly subscription that gets 4 deliverables into your inbox. We curate that content to anticipate the needs of your business. So we're a month or so ahead each month so that you have everything in your inbox ready for you as your needs change throughout the course of the year. Um, we also do Productivity Power Hour. We get together every Monday from 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern, and we have concentrated co-working hours where we have a community where you can shop different ideas, ask questions, and then also have dedicated time to focus and get that checklist marked off. In addition to that, we have our ESC retreat. And as this is recorded, we are 1 day out from the completion of that retreat, which was soul feeding and also just really revolutionary for myself. And I think for our attendees as well. It is a goal planning retreat where we take your thoughts and your dreams and we put those down on paper and we give you a strategy and direction on how to attain those goals and dreams. And lastly, we have our conference. So let's talk about the 2025 ESC Conference.
We are so excited to announce that we are going to be hosting the ESC Conference April 14th to 17th of 2025. So in the spring, we'll be hosting the second annual ESC conference. And in fact, we had such a great time at the location that we were at last year that we are returning to the Bungalou in Louisville, Kentucky. The Bungalou is a really quirky, almost like boutique hotel slash short-term rental. Every room is themed differently. There's a rooftop area outside. There's a courtyard area outside with like all kinds of games and seating areas. It's just a really unique, quirky place. And one of the things that we got the most positive feedback on from our attendees and speakers last year.
And I think that, describing it as unique and quirky still doesn't quite sum up just how freaking cool it is. So I can confidently say that we've explored just about every venue in the United States and some that weren't even in the United States. And it just kept coming back to, does it compare to the Bungaloo? And the answer was no. So we went back and forth, and we went to our, I think probably both of our dads have the saying that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So it ain't broke. So we're going back to the Bungaloo. We're going to be able to walk into a space that is not just it just doesn't accommodate us, which is a great thing, but it is also feeding like our creative side and our space to have a little fun as well, which I think is really exciting. And those that went last year can attest to just how cool it really is. If you're not familiar with the Bungaloo, be sure to go to our Instagram because it's all over our Instagram because we love it so much. And let's talk details. What does the Escape Conference mean, Ali? Like what am I getting with all of that?
I see it kind of broken into two buckets. There's the education side of things. That's where you're putting on your CEO hat and you're transitioning from that mindset of being a solopreneur, the owner operator, and really transforming yourself into that person that's able to see scalability within your business. And I will dive a little bit more into the education side of things because that's usually where I shine. That is my responsibility within the conference. And then on the other side of things, that other bucket is the social and networking bucket. We have some really cool features about our conference that are a little bit different than other educational events. And one of those things is that all of our speakers and all of our attendees, they all stay under one roof. So those past events that you may have been to where you only have access to the speaker during their 1 hour presentation or whatever it might be, those days are gone. That doesn't exist at the Escape Conference because you actually have access to all of our speakers pretty much the entire time that you're there. Of course, they will be presenting, and like I said, I'll go into that a little bit more in a second. But you also have time to spend with them at the socials in the evenings. You have time to spend with them over lunch or over cocktails. They are with us the entire time, which really adds an element of approachability, an element of community, an element that takes away all of the gatekeeping that you might have experienced at other entrepreneurial education events.
Yeah, and Ali is the education guru, and I am the social guru. So, outside of the hard hitting education, which is obviously very important to us and one of our main focal points, we also want to give you space to breathe. And sometimes, as a solopreneur or an entrepreneur with a team, even, you can feel burnout pretty quickly, and you need to just hang out with like minded people who understand that. You know, what you've been going through and also understand when you need a break from that. So, outside of the educational pieces, we'll also be hosting some really fun and just like joyful networking opportunities and social events, including some opportunities to go out and about in Louisville to experience what the city has to offer. And also things within the Bungalou, to get to know those around you and to really strengthen your community of entrepreneurs and like-minded people.
Absolutely. So let's go through sort of a quick run of the itinerary so you will know exactly what to expect when you arrive at the Escape Conference in April. First, we will be doing our Monday check-in on April the 14th. And it was really cool being able to see some of the feedback from the 2024 attendees and speakers. And we've taken all of that into account as we have rebuilt and refocused for the Escape 2025 conference. One of those things is that we had this really, really cool speed networking event on the second night. However, some of our attendees and speakers were like, we really wished we could have had that sort of base of knowledge of who everyone was on that first night so that we could hit the ground running once we got to the education and more social portions later on in the event. So, with that being said, on Monday night when you check in, there will be an ESC themed mixer, and you will be able to do the speed networking event on Monday night so that you're able to know the name of everyone and what everyone does, everyone's area of specialty, right there from the start. That really helps with just kind of building that foundation of the community that will continue to nurture throughout the rest of the event.
Yeah, and I think that in it, just for someone who gets like a little bit overwhelmed with the educational side, and also really loves the social side, we do a really great job of balancing that out through the course of the 4 days, and giving you space if you need a break, but also giving you the freedom to not take a break. Ali, you have to tell one of your favorite stories.
Oh, yes. One of my favorite stories from last year. I honestly don't remember which night it was, but we had some live music happening in the background. There was actually like husband and wife, local artists playing acoustic versions of some awesome songs. And so that was happening over on one side of the courtyard that I had mentioned. And then on the other side, there was a live coaching session, like business coaching session going on. So it really is like take what you need, leave what you don't. Like if you need that brain break and you just want to like bop along to some acoustic music, that's an option. If you're ready to power through and really implement things in your business, then whip out your computer and do it. It's one of my favorite stories. It was just like exactly what we envisioned when we were planning the conference, and seeing that come to life last year was it was breathtaking for me.
Yeah, the throughout the course of the entire conference last year, Ali and I were either crying or just like stepping back and being like, everything that we had in our brain and we knew to be true is really true because we're watching it play out right in front of us. And that is also something we've experienced through the feedback of our attendees from last year. And honestly, like seeing their progress and seeing how they've connected with each other, um, really just like feeds right back into those missions and values, and that which ends up feeding Ali and I's heart to just know that like everything that we intended this to be is exactly what it is. And having it all happen over again feels surreal and really, really cool.
Absolutely. So once we wrap up Monday night with the speed networking, Tuesday morning, you will have the option to go to some sort of, I guess the best way to say it is a reset time. Last year we did yoga and we got some really good feedback on that. We were able to bring in a local yoga instructor to host that sort of reset time in the morning. We are thinking that we are probably going to be doing something similar this year, And then starts the education piece of things, which, as you all have just heard, that is my area of expertise. And so this year, overall, let me, instead of describing like specifically in the itinerary where it's going to be, I'll give you an overall general idea of what the education is going to contain. So we will have two master classes. One of those master classes is going to be focused on systems and operations, and the other master class is going to be focused on finance within your business. Both of those master classes are going to be about an hour and a half long. We really, really hone in on the tangible tips and takeaways. So the way that is set up is that the first 45 minutes of that master class is going to be the education time. That's going to be where the speaker is directly speaking to you and presenting their information. And then the latter half of that is going to be 45 minutes of implementation and workshop time. This is a time where you'll actually have your computer out in front of you. You will be typing away as they lead you through some sort of workshop, either focused, like I said, on systems and operations or on finance. Additionally, we're also going to be doing things a little bit differently this year. We are going to have a roundtable sort of situation, which we did not have last year. But this roundtable is going to look like 3 to 4 different speakers, and each of those speakers is going to have an expertise within the marketing world. So all 3 to 4 of the roundtables are going to be focused around one specific topic, which is marketing. What I really love about the roundtables, though, is that unlike a traditional conference, like where you might have 10 roundtable options and you have to choose 3 to attend, you as an attendee are going to be able to attend every single roundtable and get to speak one-on-one with each of those roundtable speakers to see how you can incorporate what they're teaching into your business. So it's almost like our version of a roundtable is going to be a mini version of a masterclass. It's going to be a 15-minute quick shot of education, and then 15 minutes of very quickly pulling up your computer and seeing the first steps that you can take in order to implement everything you just learned in that first 15 minutes into your business. I am really, really excited about the roundtables, probably for a couple of reasons. A, I'm an education nerd. B, marketing is my area, but it's just going to be so cool to see, even like a fast-paced environment, really quick, tangible takeaways that you can very easily implement into your business.
Yeah, we talk a lot about wins, right? And something that I know Ali does when she does some of her brand analysis and stuff is that she looks at the quick wins. What can you do quickly and what can you do right now that's going to move that ticker forward? So that's probably the third reason why it makes you very excited, because it's something that you and I talk about a lot, is celebrating those wins, getting them done, getting them checked off. And that's what this roundtable is going to be. These roundtable sessions, they're really going to make sure that we're moving the ticker forward right then and there, something that you can do quickly and efficiently and effectively all at the same time.
And I would say the last piece of like big chunk of education is the open Q&A panel. This is a little bit going to be structured a little bit differently than what it was last year. Last year, we had speakers that were specifically tied to the panel. That was their main purpose as an educator at the Escape Conference. And honestly, we just felt like those speakers had so much more to offer than the panel time allowed them to offer. So this year, instead of having speakers come specifically for the panel, we're going to be taking our 2 masterclass speakers as well as our roundtable speakers, and we're going to be putting them on that Q&A panel at the end of the conference. So I'm imagining that will be Wednesday afternoonish, so that any leftover questions that you might not have gotten to ask them either during their initial session of teaching or throughout the rest of the conference when you're able to have access to them during socials and stuff, then you're able to ask that in an open forum at the very end of the conference to kind of wrap up your educational experience in a nice little bow.
Yeah, I think that's super important. As we learned last year, always learning and growing and shifting and adjusting. And we really think that not only is it important just because if you have your own individual questions, but getting together as a group, I think it'll be really impactful to hear what other people have questions about. Because sometimes, especially for me, like I know that I have questions, I don't quite know what they are. So after multiple days of just education and a lot of thinking, a lot of planning, this is your opportunity to take those next steps forward with the people that have been with you throughout the last few days as you're navigating through those changes and growth moments and things like that.
Absolutely. So I feel like I got a little bit of off track by the itinerary, but we're going to try and reroute back to back to on track. Okay, so after the education portion, we'll have a more open time in the afternoon. One of the pieces of feedback was that people wanted to get to know Louisville a little bit better because we stayed, vast majority stayed at on location at the Bungalou last year. And by stayed, I mean everybody's sleeping under the same roof, but they like actually stayed at the venue during the day instead of going out and exploring in the open times in the afternoon. So this time you actually have kind of like a pick your own adventure type of deal that you can do. Each day, Kassie and I are going to switch roles. So one of us will stay and conduct more of an pointed productivity power hour in the afternoon. If you'd like to stay and implement some of the things that you learned throughout the educational portions of the day, you can implement those in the afternoon, or you can go and choose to go explore some places in Louisville. So that'll
And
be really
I
fun.
also we need to clarify because this is something that we often between the two of us, we're just like, let's do all the time. Like whether that's like traveling around or like working, that's also your time to like go take a nap if you want to. That's the pick how you're gonna play type of thing. So, we totally respect if you need to take a break from all of the people and totally respect if you don't get enough sleep at home. So, we're really trying to build in time where you are in control of how you utilize the space.
Absolutely. Good point. See, like she said, it's kind of like my second nature to just be like, no sleep till Brooklyn. So I'm glad that you like pointed that out. I'm going to let you take over the evening activities since that's your area of expertise.
Okay, so what I love to do is have a lot of fun and make money and and grow businesses and all the things. So when we dive into conference social stuff, it brings me so much joy. We will be, like we've said before, networking, but we're also going to have some like fun, exciting, just energetic things. Last year we did a lot of live music. We had a themed camp party where we had a hair braider there, and we just had a lot of things that were unique and just super fun to see quite the variety of people there all enjoying it and experiencing it in their own little way. So that is all coming back. But in addition to our in house networking events, we'll be taking a field trip as a whole group and that field trip will be Louisville themed and coded so that we really get to experience the community and ecosystem that we're in.
Let's give the example of just this previous weekend. Cassie mentioned earlier that we just wrapped up the first ever ESC goal planning retreat, and that retreat was in York, South Carolina. Um,
And it was about 45 minutes outside of Charlotte to give you context to the location. And we wanted to do a field trip. It was a kind of like a adult sleepaway camp themed event. And we were like, let's do a field trip. So we were just going to go to dinner, and I had kind of scoured for what we could do after dinner. And on our way into town, we saw the sign, and it was delivered quite literally straight to the roadside, which had phone numbers and everything. And we took all of our attendees to the rodeo. And I will say a few of them were skeptical. I was not skeptical. I was all in as soon as we saw the sign. And we had a blast. And those same attendees that were like, I made them promise that they would stay for an hour. And if they didn't want to stay after that hour, we would leave. And at the end of the entire rodeo, so we stayed for the whole time, they were like those same people were like, "It's over. That's it. We have to go home now." And that ended up being, I think, it was one of the highlights for me, because it was spontaneous, but it was just a whole like people who never would have ever gone to the rodeo on the planet had so much fun. So that's the energy that we're taking into Louisville. We're going to find those really unique Louisville centered event, not events, but things to see and things to do, and take you all with us to experience those so that you get really the heart of what it's all about to be there.
And two things came up for me while you were saying that. First was like, I, of course, I love seeing the attendees' faces as they were watching the rodeo. But what I loved even more is that like we stayed true to our values, even in that time of spontaneity. We like we definitely positively impacted the
The
local
local
businesses
economy.
by, yeah, exactly. Because not only like we, paid admission to get into the rodeo to see the cowboys, but there were also little like booths and to see like our attendees, one from like California and this like small town South Carolina, just like being so excited to pay a vendor for a hat or a souvenir or whatever it was. It was really cool to see that as well.
And it was in addition to that, it was really quite hilarious, but very on brand for everybody that was there because we overheard conversations of, "What do you think their overhead is here?" And, "Oh, this looks like vendor booths that I helped set up," and, just things like that. So we were still entrepreneurs, like, learning and
In the wild.
brainstorming while we were at the rodeo.
And the other thing that I want to say is yes, while the rodeo was rather spontaneous based off of a road sign on the side of the road. Um, the field trip in Louisville will be much more
Absolutely, that will be
planned
planned and
out.
coordinated, and, we had no indication of, what was in store for us as we drove into York, so, just having the ability I remember when the text came through and Allie was like, "Rodeo, we should go," and I think she was joking, and you don't joke around me when it comes to fun social things.
I 100% was joking.
But we ended up in flannel and denim at the rodeo, so be careful what you joke about with me, because we also did this thing, at and we're getting a little off topic, but I think it's important for context, but, we did a what do you do presentation at the beginning of the retreat so that everybody in the room knew what the other person did, and one of the things that we wanted to highlight were things about us personally, not just professionally, and so we had to give 5 facts, and one of my facts was that or it was either one of my facts or one of my weaknesses is that I try to turn every hobby into a job. And so don't joke about me if you have or don't joke with me if you have a business idea or if you see a sign about a rodeo.
Yeah. Lesson learned. Lesson learned.
Yes. So, in the scope of Escape, outside of the networking pieces, we do something called an experience gallery. That experience gallery is an opportunity to really just kind of have like a shopping vibe, but also um, it's meant to be this like creative uh, like feeder. Like I want it when you walk in and you see what we have set up. I want it to get your mind moving about what you can do in your own business. So we try to think outside of the box in that. So last year we had an artist come who did live watercolor portraits of our attendees, and we also had somebody that came with we called it the Boss Babe Lip Color Station. So she helped you color match and you could purchase her lip glosses. And then we had a blind date with a book. So we wrapped different business books and wrote on the outside, like, if you need help with hiring, pick this book. If you need X, pick this one. And it was just a whole, almost like a bookstore of, you didn't know what was behind the paper. Um, and those are all things. We also had our gumball machine, and inside of that, we had some sponsors who had Dubsado was one of our sponsors last year, and it was like a free year with Dubsado in the gumball machine. So that is an opportunity to shop and hang out, and also just really try to think of different things within your own business that might not be on the radar at all, but really allows you to think in this like unique attention grabbing way.
Absolutely. That was a very good synopsis.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Let's talk about the perks of our different ticketing options and how we can get these tickets.
Absolutely. So I will say that even with an individual, for lack of a better term, general admission ticket, we treat all of our attendees as if they are VIPs. So with that individual ticket, you will receive your accommodations. That means we are going to house you for the duration of the event. All of your meals and drinks are included in that ticket as well. Your hard-hitting education, those two master classes, roundtables, panel, all of that also included in your ticket. And finally, that Louisville field trip, the speed networking, all of the social events, the live music, all of that, all included in your general admission ticket. Now, we also have what I guess is a VIP experience. And what that VIP ticket includes is a hot seat opportunity. This is, I keep saying like, this is one of my favorite parts about the conference, but this is one of my favorite parts about the conference. I took a lot of my educational background and poured it into this hot seat position. Um, and what that looks like is that there will be 4 opportunities for a hot seat position. And if you are one of those 4 attendees, you have the opportunity to present something to the group to get feedback on. That something could be a new service offering. That something could be a problem or bottleneck that you've been experiencing in your business. Um, Anything that you need specific, focused help on, you will have the feedback of your peers and other attendees, but you will also have feedback of the speakers as well. And it's a really awesome opportunity. And we've seen the fruits of that opportunity with the attendees that were in the hot seat last year. One of those attendees launched a brand new service offering in her business and also got multiple leads from the attendees that were in the audience that fit her ideal client profile. That's been really cool to see the like unfolding of that the last 6 months.
Right, and I think that to give more clarity on that, there's as, an audience member, so if you're not in the hot seat, what you are doing is you have a fillable sheet out that offers direct feedback, so you're not just getting feedback verbally and you have to, like, remember it all and, as the nerves of presenting come along, that can feel like a lot of pressure. So we have a sheet for each person, watching your presentation to fill out as you go, and on that sheet, it asks, am I your ideal client? Yes or no, with contact information. So you get all of those sheets at the end of your presentation that you can go through and find those leads and how to connect with them. So you come off of the hot seat with hot leads. So that is something because as a presenter and as somebody who's had to stand in front of people, sometimes you get a little nervous and um, even if there's really good nuggets of information, you might not be able to retain it. So we've made sure that that experience can be fruitful for you long after the hot seat itself.
Absolutely. One of the other wins that one of our hot seat attendees had is that she was looking to sell her business, and to my knowledge, that business is about to be sold as of the end of this year. So we've helped people take really big steps within that hot seat position, and would love for you to be one of our next VIP hot seat attendees.
And to just like nail this down on another win is that last year, one of our attendees, although she was kind of crushing it, her confidence wasn't quite there. And when we're in our own echo chamber, we can tell ourselves a lot of things and we can present our own businesses to ourselves in a lot of ways or in not a lot of ways. And I think that hot seat for her was just clarity that she was on the right track and that she's actually really, really good at what she does and leading with that confidence and taking her service offerings to the next level because of her qualifications. So even if it's not necessarily a tangible takeaway, I don't think we had a single VIP last year that didn't leave with a a very high like very high stack of things that they took away positively to implement or to just go forward in their businesses.
Yeah, I know that attendee. I know who you're talking about, and she left with some hot leads too. So it's all around. very worth the upgrade in ticket price.
Yeah, and I think last year, to just pull, show you behind the curtain a little bit, I don't know that because it was our first year, this is one of those proof of concept areas where we knew that that's what we wanted it to be, but to try to upsell, we had no proof of concept, and now to kind of stand firmly and like exactly what we thought would happen happened, and it is worth it, and it is something that could change the game for you. Um, is a really, talk about a confidence boost for us to just say like, no, this is absolutely what you should do. Like you should do this. So yeah, that VIP perk is mighty for sure.
Absolutely.
I want to talk about something that I am very excited about, and something that is it's directly correlated to us going back to the Bungaloo, because last year we came up with this idea, but we weren't sure how it would work out at the venue because it was our first time there. So now we know that it's possible. And that is our bestie tickets. So, and people asked us this last year and we couldn't confidently say it. And again, I'm standing firm on it this time. We don't have to worry about it. So, our bestie tickets is an option for you to come with your best friend or your business bestie, whoever that might be, and you get absolutely everything in the individual tickets. The only difference is that you'll be sharing a bed with the person that you're coming with. So, you each buy a ticket at a heavily discounted rate and get everything that an individual general admission ticket gets. And the only thing you have to do is share a bed, which I think is like I'm holding on to telling you how much you get off, but I will say that I think it's an incredible deal. Ali, I know that if you and I were going to this conference as not the co-founders, we would absolutely be buying these bestie
Oh,
tickets.
no brainer. Like that's what I think that was probably like one of our hesitations doing it, not only logistics last year, but also like would people want to do that? Would people want to share beds? Like are we the weird ones? But really I think what it comes down to is like we are not the weird ones. We are the ones that like to have a good time and also get a good deal. So now we're able to offer that to other people too.
So the bestie ticket will give you $1,000 off each of your tickets. So that it's $1,000. There's three zeros behind it. We're not throwing around $100 off for this or whatever. You're getting $1,000 off a ticket, which I think is quite the deal.
Oh, absolutely. We're throwing out ticket prices now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, very good. So full price individual ticket is $34.99. If you decide to find a bestie that you can come with, then that ticket price will be reduced down to $24.99, $1,000 off. So you're getting accommodations, you're getting food, meals, drinks, alcohol included, a field trip out in Louisville, hard-hitting education, all of those social networking events for $2,500. 2,500.
I I don't know how you don't do it.
I I don't either. I don't either.
Even at the general admission price, I don't know how you don't do it. I have attended conferences in that price point and not been fed a meal and had to find my own accommodations. Like I know, and budget is one of my taskers each event, and we have brought this price point down without compromising the value and the integrity of the conference because we want you all there. So I am really proud of us, and I'm really eager for all of you to have the accessibility to this type of an event. It is unique. We blur the lines of conference and retreat because of our size and because of our heavy hitting education. So everything that you would get at these bigger conferences, you're going to get in such a curated, beautiful box with an affordable price tag. And that is something that we are really, really proud of, and we know is valuable and amazing.
Absolutely. And if you decide to join us as a VIP, then that is simply just a $500 add-on. So that would be a $39.99 ticket. But if you decide to come and purchase a ticket during the early bird window, which is right freaking now at the time of the airing of this
I wish I had
podcast.
like I wish I had a siren, thing where it could be like, "Wah, wah, wah," like a DJ does whenever you said, "Right now."
So now through November 1st, we are offering an incentive for early bird pricing. And so you can come for $250 off of your individual ticket. Or if you wanted to do the upgrade to VIP, then it is $250 off that price as well.
Yes. So, like she said, early bird is right now, and that the way that you get tickets is on our website, escconference.co/conference-25. We'll have the links in the show notes. Don't worry. You can find us on Instagram at ESC_conference. We'll have all the links there. You'll eventually be led to our Thrive Cart checkout. And something that I think is very worth noting is that ThriveCard allows you to pay via Klarna and Afterpay. So you can make payment plans, or you can choose payment plans to be able to pay monthly towards your ticket if you're the type of person, which I think Allie's the person that would just rather to pay in full and it be done. And I'm the person that'll take a monthly payment all day long. So the ticket price isn't more expensive by doing it this way. It just allows you to spread those payments out between the purchase date and the conference date. So that was another change that we made this year, which I'm really excited about.
Absolutely. We would love to have you there, especially if you are a female creative entrepreneur who is looking to grow and scale her business. If you're in the messy middle, we're here to embrace it with you.
Yeah, we can't wait to see you in April. If you have any questions, our DMs are always open. And you can email us at hello@escconference.co. And then if you somehow can't find that and you find your way onto Allie's business page or my business page, just DM us. The DMs are always open.
And in the meantime, if you would like to keep up with us, we also have a weekly newsletter that is the free version of that newsletter that goes out that really gives a spotlight to our community members, tells you any certain offers or specials that we got going on now, and usually gives you a little bit of a glimpse into behind the curtain of ESC events. So if you want to follow along with us, then we'll drop that newsletter sign up in the show notes as well. And if you would like to be part of the paid subscription newsletter, the ESC Impact Weekly, to receive those weekly resources, we'll drop that in the show notes as well. So anytime that you want to join us, free or paid, we are here with open arms, ready to grow your community and ours.
As my son would say, did it! You just completed another episode of the Ali Ray Haney Show. If you found this helpful, please rate, review, and subscribe to help others find this show and so you never miss an episode. Take a look at the show notes for all the resources mentioned in today's episode. Let's continue the conversation over in my private Facebook group, the Ali Ray Haney Show Insiders. See you next Wednesday, and as always, I'm here cheering you on as you build your dream brand and business.